Most criminals are idiots. They risk their lives for a few kilos of cocaine, dodging bullets in filthy alleys. But a real genius knows better. You don't sell what's forbidden. You sell what people desperately need, but are too ashamed to ask for out loud. I don't deal in death. I deal in hope, wrapped in plastic. My weapon isn't a Kalashnikov. It's the send button on a server that blasts 1 billion emails in a single click. Welcome to a world where chalk is worth more than gold, as long as it has the right logo stamped on it. Your name is Peter. It's the early 2000s. The internet is still the Wild West. No ID checks, no regulations. Spam filters are as weak as a child's prayer. You aren't a thug. You're an IT specialist with a heart of ice. You notice something interesting. People will pay anything for Viagra, Xanax, or insulin just to avoid a doctor's visit. You build RX promotions. It's not just a website, it's an invisible web. Cost to produce? Half a cent. Sale price? $15. You hit the enter key, and your ad flies into millions of inboxes. You aren't a millionaire yet, but you just opened the most profitable faucet in the history of the underworld. 3 years later, your little experiment has turned into a global epidemic. You're not just reselling pills anymore. You own the market. Your empire, RX Promotions, now manages thousands of mirror sites. Every morning, you wake up to the reports. 500 million spam emails delivered. 40,000 orders processed. You've created the perfect illusion. Your websites look more professional than the official portal of the Ministry of Health. High-res photos of doctors. Happy customer testimonials. Bold FDA-approved seals. But behind the curtain, there is nothing but air. Your logistics are a masterpiece of the underworld. You don't ship the product yourself. You hire mules, ordinary people in the US, the UK, and Europe, who have no idea who they're really working for. They receive packages from India, repackage them into local envelopes, and mail them to the final customers. To the Postal Service, it looks like a standard domestic shipment. No customs checks, no questions asked. But the money is becoming a problem. When $300,000 drops into your accounts every single week, banks start getting curious. You learn the art of financial vanishing. Shell companies in Cyprus, Panama, and the Seychelles. You hire high-priced lawyers to dress up your income as IT marketing consultancy fees. You buy the loyalty of bankers with luxury watches and private parties. You're starting to taste absolute power. You realize you don't just control the supply, you control human fear. But with the money comes the first real shadow. Intelligence agencies are noticing the signal in the noise. In their reports, a name appears for the first time. A name that will soon become their primary nightmare. Yours. The money is a flood now, but it's never enough. Lifestyle drugs like Viagra are steady, but they're boring. You decide to move into the major leagues. The kind of business where lives are actually on the line. You start counterfeiting antibiotics, heart medication, and cancer treatments. Now, your labs in China and India are running 24/7. These aren't sterile environments. They only care about one thing, making a Lipitor pill look perfect. If you need talcum powder or toxic solvents to get that specific shine, you give the green light. You tell yourself you're just a businessman. And side effects? Those are just statistics. Paranoia becomes your shadow. You ditch the regular phones. Your world is encrypted chats and servers buried in abandoned bunkers across Eastern Europe. You build a partnership with corrupt officials. They provide the official letterheads and the security holograms. Now your fake insulin is sitting on the shelves of legitimate pharmacies in Africa. In Southeast Asia, people buy it, praying for a cure. But inside those capsules is nothing but common sugar. But death. Death is impossible to hide forever. Headlines start appearing about strange mortality spikes. Dozens are dying from infections that your antibiotics were supposed to cure. The FBI and Interpol form a joint task force. They don't know where you are, but they know how your network breathes. They start hunting your system administrators. You feel the circle tightening. You're spending millions now, not on luxury, but on staying a ghost. In this trade, there's a golden rule. The more you earn, the brighter you glow on the radar of the men who want your head. You aren't the hunter anymore. You are the most expensive prey in the digital underworld. You are at your peak. RX Promotions is no longer just a network. It's a parallel economy. You're moving tens of millions. Your pride is starting to cloud your judgment. You believe your digital fortress is impenetrable. But you forgot the human factor. The FBI and the DEA know they can't take you by storm. So, they play the long game. They find your weakest link. A system administrator in Latvia, a man who spent too much at the casinos. They corner him in a dark alley. He has a choice: life in prison or becoming their eyes and ears inside your machine. Now, every encrypted message you send, every transaction log, every address of a new lab is mirrored to a server in Washington. You feel it. Something is wrong. Accounts in Panama are suddenly frozen. Trusted suppliers stop answering. You start the purge. You paranoidly change passports. You fly from Dubai to Bangkok, from Bangkok to Moscow. You spend fortunes on counterintelligence, trying to find the rat. You start ordering forceful solutions for competitors trying to move in while you're distracted. Your business is no longer about IT. It's a bloody mess. You aren't sitting in a comfortable chair with a laptop anymore. You are a fugitive. You realize your partners in India and China are already talking behind your back, ready to trade you for their own safety. You make a fatal mistake. In a desperate move to save your capital, you transfer a massive sum through a bank that is already under the total control of undercover agents. The trap is shut. You have enough money to buy a small country, but not a single place on the map where you can safely close your eyes. The silence in your encrypted chat is deafening. The end doesn't come with a cinematic shootout. It happens in the silence of a luxury hotel suite. You thought 4 passports and a web of aliases made you invisible, but to the digital bloodhounds, you're just a trail of breadcrumbs, a ghost in the blockchain. The feds launch Operation Pharmageddon while you're ordering room service. Hundreds of agents in 10 different countries storm your servers. Your empire, 10 years in the making, evaporates in 40 minutes. When the door to your room is kicked off its hinges, you don't even have time to close your laptop. On the screen are the same profit spreadsheets you once called your pride. Now, they're your death warrant. You're shackled, dragged to the airport under heavy guard. For the first time in years, you see the world not through a monitor, but through the steel cage of a transport van. The news cycle explodes. The world finally learns your name. Peter Hugh Cameron Lawrence. They call you a digital serial killer. Prosecutors pile the evidence on the table. Lab reports showing your pills contained rat poison, drywall, and toxic lead-based paints. Your accounts are frozen. Your lawyers, who swore loyalty yesterday, vanish the moment they realize the well has run dry. In the courtroom, you see the faces. Families of those who never got their real medicine because they bought your sugar-coated hope. You stare back with glass eyes, still trying to calculate an escape algorithm in your head. But there is no algorithm for this. You aren't a player anymore. You're a trophy. You're headed to a place with no Wi-Fi, where the only medicine you'll receive is the bitter taste of your own defeat. Today, your entire universe is a 6 by 9 foot cell. There are no servers here, no anonymity, and no power. You're just a number in a database, cold and clinical, exactly like the batches of pills you used to ship across the globe. You were handed 30 years, but in this business, a sentence like that is just a slow-motion execution. The ultimate irony? When you get a headache or your blood pressure spikes, a guard brings you a pill. You stare at it, unable to swallow. You know better than anyone what might be hiding beneath that perfect white coating. The paranoia that fed your business is now eating you alive. Your empire, RX Promotions, is dead, but its legacy is thriving. You were patient zero for a global epidemic of digital fraud. You proved that trust is the most liquid commodity. And the fear of death is the ultimate marketing tool today. Thousands of imitators use your playbook, your mule schemes, your spam relay algorithms, your offshore routes. The shadow market for pharmaceuticals is now worth $200 billion. You simply opened the door, and the rest of the world rushed in. You thought you were the master of the system. No, you were just a temporary gear in a machine that doesn't care about human life. When the lights in the prison block go out, you're left with the silence. You don't hear the hum of servers anymore. You hear the voices of people who will never know your name, but whose lives ended because of your greed. Your story is over. But in a basement somewhere in the suburbs of Shanghai, a new pill press is being calibrated right now. Because as long as people believe in cheap miracles, your business will flourish, with or without you.